Hello everyone and welcome to Calavera Beach, California. We're starting a brand new series here on the channel, and if you're new here, welcome. If you are old here, well, welcome back. I'm sorry I've been a little bit inactive recently. Been pretty busy, and I've been trying to get this series going, which is no easy task. As you can see, this map is pretty complicated, at least the terrain is, and the vegetation mostly. So overall the terrain was relatively easy. I mean, I used terrain.party to download a height map from Carmel Highlands, I believe, in Northern California, which is this little area south of Carmel by the Sea. Obviously a pretty rich area, but it's a pretty awesome height map I figured to use for this series, which is actually going to be set in Southern California. And this series is going to be based on Laguna Beach. So Laguna Beach is a city in southern Orange County. So Laguna is really unique because most of Orange County is just, suburban sprawl and master planned communities. Meanwhile, Laguna Beach is sort of cut off from it all in this area that is really hard to get to. Like, it takes a while to get into Laguna Beach. Like, say you're coming from downtown Newport Beach or something, that's going to take at least 15 minutes, even though it's a couple miles away. If you're coming from, Irvine or something, that's going to take maybe 20 minutes. And those are some of the closest areas. It's really cut off from everything. It's not connected by a freeway. It's only connected by a road that sort of goes inland called 133, and by PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, which is the highway that runs from, I don't know how far north it goes, but it goes all the way down south and just sort of hugs the coastline in California. I think it's just a really unique city, Laguna Beach, and it is a tourist trap during the summer, I'll tell you that. And there are a lot of people who want to come see the city, and there's also a big tourist population from the Sawdust Festival, which is an art festival which happens once a year, I believe, and a very, very big art festival. Laguna Beach is known for being very much a city of the arts, and it's pretty unique in that way, because once again, it's within the suburban sprawl, the quintessential suburban sprawl of Southern California. I think Orange County sort of embodies that. Meanwhile, Laguna Beach is one of California's most unique places, which I think is really cool. So, okay, the name Calavera Beach. So in Spanish, Calavera means skull, and Laguna Beach has got a lot of rocks, and the beaches are not it's not like this massive expanse of a beach that you might see elsewhere in Southern California. Instead, it's a bunch of different smaller beaches that are separated by rocks, and they're like little lagoons, and Laguna means lagoon in Spanish, so that hence the name. Calavera in Spanish, that means skull, which you might be confused by because this is a beach town, and that sounds pretty morbid. But look at these rocks in these lagoons. That's pretty dangerous, and I can imagine the statistic for the amount of people who have lost their lives to these rocks due to riptides or massive waves is way higher than we'd like it to be. So no matter how morbid the name sounds, it unfortunately fits. So that's what we're going with. So I'm not 100% basing this series off Laguna Beach. I'm going to take some things from other places and integrate them, but overall it's going to be based on Laguna Beach. I might try to integrate some things from some places I find interesting in Northern California and Central Coast mostly, actually, because Central Coast is pretty weird to me. There's a lot of room for development. There are a lot of cities along, Central Coast that are filled with farmland, and I don't know why I said farmland rather than farmland. That was weird, but regardless, there are a lot of cities that are just surrounded by farms. You look at Santa Maria, for example, just surrounded by farms, and the whole area could just be developed into a much larger city than it is, because it's got the weather of, California, the coast of California, which is really consistent from north to south. Not too much variation there, but it's got obviously very good weather. It's got shoreline nearby, and I just don't see why Central Coast is not as developed as some other areas. So definitely, if you know anything about that, tell me, because I find it sort of interesting. But I want to integrate maybe some things from Central Coast into this series, because there are some open areas within this map, and I thought maybe I could add some farms or something like that. So maybe we'll do that in the future. But for now, as I've started building, I've actually gone onto the map and started building a little bit for the first real episode. We've got a lot of space to cover, so it's going to be a pretty decent series in terms of the length of it. I don't know how long it'll be. I don't know where I'll go with it. I'm just sort of taking it as I go and trying to really enjoy it. Because really with New Windsor recently, I haven't really been enjoying it as much as I'd like to be. And that's because I've been just working on it for so long. It's been a long time I've been working on New Windsor. I think I started last December or November, and it's almost been a year. And, once you get to that point, you get a little bit bored. And I know, like, a lot of people are sort of, switching off and doing second series now. For example, $2.20 is working on the Border Town series, Taser's working on Berrysville, just taking a break from the main series and just trying to do something that might make them a little bit more creative. And I pretty much had the exact same urge, so I'm not going to try to force, New Windsor videos, and because it really felt like a chore over the past couple weeks trying to make New Windsor videos, and I don't want it to be like that. I love this game, and don't want it to be a chore whatsoever. So, off we go on to a new series, which I think is going to be so much fun, because this is one of my favorite places on Earth. I love Southern California, but I really don't like the part of it that is just massive suburban sprawl. I love the just smaller coastal towns, like Laguna Beach, for example. Honestly, I believe Laguna Beach exemplifies the best parts of Southern California, just puts them into one package. I just love it, so that's why it's sort of the base here. And yeah, I've actually got some, footage that I want to include in these videos to sort of give you an idea of what it's like on the ground in Laguna Beach, because I'm there every once in a while, maybe every couple months, and, I try to gather some footage, and it's just on my iPhone, but it's got good stabilization. It should work. So just if I'm doing a trolley system or something, I'll have a little footage of a trolley, show you what it looks like in Laguna. With a nice color correction, it should look good enough. So I really can't wait for that. Trying to integrate some real life footage. That should be a lot of fun. Honestly, just this whole series is going to be just a nice breath of fresh air. I love New Windsor, but it's time for a little bit of something new. Something I'm a little bit more interested in building. I mean, I really like New Windsor a lot. I think it's an awesome city. The FPS is just getting really bad, and it's, once again, becoming a little bit of a chore to make those videos, so I just gotta take a little break, and I think that'll make me, want to work on it a lot more. And if I get an urge to work on New Windsor, I will immediately go back to working on New Windsor, because I'm working on this city on a separate account, and I'm using family sharing in Steam to share City Skylines and the DLCs with myself on the other account. So I've got all of my assets sort of in one section for this account. Steam sort of does it for you. You can just create a second account, and if you want different asset sets, you're working on different cities, you can just do that and have one account be, subscribed to certain things, one account be subscribed to others. So definitely try that if you're working on multiple projects. Let's talk about the vegetation on the map. So I'm building this map for the workshop, not for myself. And I say that because I'm going to be changing it a lot, especially the cliffs, because the cliffs are not that high definition from afar, and I don't know, they don't look perfectly realistic. So in terms of the density of the trees and stuff and the bushes, I'm gonna probably change it myself, but this is built for the workshop. There are only two different trees that people have to subscribe to, the bushes and the tree itself that I'm using here. Even in Southern California, there is a lot of vegetation, especially within valleys. So for most of this map creation, you've seen me put a lot of trees, obviously, within the valleys of the hills here. And I'm doing that because that's where the water goes, and that's where the trees are able to grow. The rest of the map is mostly covered with the wild bushes, but those don't really do well with the, giving off the facade of having dense but low-lying vegetation, so I'm gonna have to figure out a better solution later. But once again, this is for the workshop, so you can also change the map yourself once you download it. We'll see when that's up. I don't know if it'll be up. It probably won't be up when this video comes out, but check the description. Here I'm adding a lot of the surface rocks to the shore, just to, once again, give that feeling of a rocky shoreline. It isn't perfect though, because a lot of the rocks in, in coastal towns in California are, obviously they're arid looking. They're not gray. So I'm just trying to use the cliff texture to give off that feel, but the cliffs aren't obviously unbelievably detailed because they're just terraformed. So the surface rocks are all I can do to really give off that, that harsh, natural feeling. So I'm probably gonna have to figure out a better solution. Maybe somebody can retexture the surface rocks to be like an arid color, like the cliff texture. Who knows? I have no idea how to do that. I would do it myself if I knew, but yeah, I'll figure that out. If you know how to do that, definitely tell me. And I can use I could just use them locally, or maybe Owl would be okay with whoever it is releasing them, or I don't know. But anyway, right now, just trying to finish up here. I'm using a lot of the natural resource textures, namely the oil. I'm using the Springwood map theme, which is built for Southern California, and yeah, it really works well for a Southern California city. It's working perfectly so far for me, no complaints whatsoever. But anyway, we're sort of coming to the end of the episode, so yeah, it's time to say goodbye for now. I'm gonna try to get the next episode up next week, probably at the same time. I'm trying to be more consistent with this series than with New Windsor. Probably smaller portions of, builds within the episodes, but very, very focused on a specific thing. So I think that'll actually be a better model and more consistent on the channel. But anyway, if you're new around here, definitely subscribe and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button to get notified whenever I upload a video, so you can see every new episode of Calavera Beach. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and if you really didn't enjoy it, you can leave a dislike. I really don't care. If you neither enjoyed the video nor hated it, then don't leave a rating because it wouldn't be applicable. Definitely leave me a comment if you're excited about the new series. I can't wait myself. I think this is going to be an awesome series. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram and chat with me there if you have any questions or anything like that. Join my Steam group where you can just talk to other people at City Skylines, get any help you need, stuff like that. Those are all in the description. So yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next episode of Calavera Beach.